everyone, I'm Kimberly with My Victorian Heart, and I wanted to do another copy of the ornament that I made with the Spirit of Christmas rice paper by Decoupage Queen and the Cozy Winter Ornaments decoupage paper. So this is Cozy Winter Ornaments, and as you can see, this bird here we used right here, and on the Spirit of Christmas for the back we used, oh my goodness, where is it? Okay, right here. Okay, so I made a circle here, and I also cut out these cute tiny little cherubs. Okay, and they're actually right under the numbers. I patched them in, so I'll show you and we'll get to it. Okay, I'm gonna put the camera down. So is what we want to do now is cut out our paper. So first, this is a good fit. And I put a coat of bonding primer on this ornament. This ornament it's white plastic, but I don't know, it has this weird feel to it, and I think a good coat of bonding primer was in order. So I have a water pen here, and it is by Pentel. I get them on Amazon, and you just fill the barrel. You unscrew this and you fill it with water. It has like this little brush. I think they call them watercolor pens. So I just go around the perimeter here. I just squeeze out the water. It's really nice and quick. I used to do this by dipping a little artist brush into water, and it took so long. This is like much quicker. And I make like little wet marks to make notches so I can tear the paper from the edge. So and I just like kind of clean up the white off the edges of the paper. And I don't know if you've ever like decoupage a round piece of paper onto a round ornament that's like a curved surface. It's a little tricky. So you kind of have to like if you look here, it will buckle and wrinkle. See? So as what I do is I kind of just tear little notches on the sides, like you know, when you're sewing a stocking or something and it curves, you cut little notches around the edges of the hems, and so when you know, fold them right side out, they aren't buckled and puckered. And I mean, this helps a little bit, but you know, you have to be careful not to tear up your paper. It's just one of those things, you know, it's just kind of tricky for me anyway. So I have Pentart Decoupage Varnishing Glue in Matte. I'm just gonna get a quick coat there, get it centered. And you know what? I need to park this on my little cloth, my old paint cloth, so it doesn't move around so much. Just get it straight on here. It's a little tricky. Stuff dries so fast. I feel like I had that a little crooked. Right, that's better. Like that much better. And you know, my other ornament, I had a couple little wrinkles in my paper. It was a little hard to avoid, but they sort of dissipate as they dry. It's not a big deal. So don't sweat it if it gets, see there's a wrinkle here because, you know, I just go in and try to smooth them out. This is a IOD silicone paint blade, and it's nice. It helps smooth stuff out and it doesn't drag. I really like them. Some people use like a kind of like a decoupage squeegee, I think they call them. I haven't tried them, but I like my paint blade. Okay, so that has to dry. Don't want to touch it. And we need to get the back done, and it's really tricky. So let's just park this right here. Okay. So I think I'm just going to go use my template from my old paper. I cut a wide berth around that design, didn't I? Oh, and I want to cut out my little cherubs. And as what I did with this is I got rid of the black from the old antique key that was on here. I just sort of tore it off. That's good. So there's our little cherubs. Hopefully I won't lose them. And I think is what I did is I had to clean this red off of here. I cleaned all this up. I wanted this French label. I love it. I think it's great. I don't know. It probably would have been fine to keep this red. I really do like that red plaid bow on there. It's cute. And I'll just kind of round that out a little bit. It's a little wonky. Oops, I just tore my label. So this has to dry. So I just fit it on here last night. And as you can see, the words Parfums au Principe de Fleur went like almost all the way up in the neck of the ornament. So they were pretty, it was pretty high up there. I'm not sure if it just scooted up and I didn't pay attention or... So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put this on here. Let's try to dry. Whoops, it's not coming on. Just to dry a little bit. cherubs. I almost forgot the little things. Okay. Get them on there lickety split. I just sort of paint the back of the cherub paper with my Decoupage Varnishing Glue. Just kind of put them right down there, centered between the 2 and the 5. And see if I can pull that off without making a big mess, so it doesn't cover my 2 and 5. Okay. And what I did is I went around the edges of this patch with antique paste to blend it, you know? So it turned out great. You know, sometimes you can just take these paint blades and gently smooth out a wrinkle. Really helps. Okay. Little sticky still. Very wet right there. I don't even know what the deal is with that. It's like there's no paper there. And here's the cap to the ornament. They come with these. These I bought this large container of these ornaments at Michael's last Christmas. It was after Christmas and they were on clearance. And they were like a $20 container, and I got them for like under $5. It was a great deal. Okay, let's get the clay and get the molds castings going really quick. So I just get a little bit of cornstarch and, you know, I put in here before I put my clay in there. And as what I did is I put the ornament here and figured this middle one would be good. I was trying to remember where I cut it yesterday. You know, I think these are at the bottom right here. And I use express glue to apply the castings. So this is IOD Air Dry Clay. make like a rope of clay for trims and stuff like this, you know. And it might actually be too much, you know, a little too thick. So I just go and I roll it. And press it in. Okay. So that's what it looks like. Okay. So is what I did is I just cut it down the middle yesterday, and I think I put this detail at the bottom and I cut it in the middle up here. So what did I cut it with? I don't remember. So this old blade thing here kind of broke, you know. So and then you just take it and you fit it around your ornament. So this part you want kind of like facing in the front at the bottom is what I did. So I go like that, and it just kind of stretched itself around the ornament. It was really easy. I didn't really have to do too much of that, you know. So I just go here on the sides. There's a seam, and it will slide around, so you have to like and I probably do way too much glue. Big story of my life. I have a bad habit of that, you know, heavy-handed. You really don't need that much in one area. I just spread it around to the other side. Just a little dots. Okay, oops. So you just go like this, and it's a little, you know, cumbersome, but it can be done. And you just get it on there and let it start sticking, and you kind of have to hold it and tweak it, and it can be done. Like, used my palms and my fingers, and I just hold it in place, and I just scooch it and stretch it upward to the neck almost. Okay, and you just keep scooching it around and putting it back in place if it moves, you know. And so is what you want to do. You just kind of keep patting it and scooching it, you know, and be gentle so you don't like ruin all your detail. the casting. And so you know, and I mean, some of the detail will get dulled from the pressing and the working the clay, but that's okay. And this, as it dries, will contract a bit away from the neck. So you can put your little thing, and I just went ahead and put it in when I was trying to apply the clay around it. So, and this is like super flexible, this little metal thing, or I don't even think it's, I don't know, it's really thin, you know, and you can squeeze it around to fit on there. So there you go. Close my glue. And the key to molds, castings from clay, to you know, limit cracking of your clay as it dries is good adherence with your glue. You know, like here, I think I need some more, and I'm gonna go in with a brush and smooth it out in there. You know, that's why I feel like it's probably okay to put too much glue rather than not enough, because then you got to go in like this, like I'm doing, and fix it. I would rather like have too much and have it oozing out and me cleaning it up with a brush, you know. Just gonna get in there. And you want to make sure you keep an eye on, like, don't let it go crooked. So you just keep an eye on your placement as you go around. And if I see little cracks in the clay developing, I go in and I fix them. I like get a little bit of a wet brush and I smooth them, you know. So I feel like my clay looks a little cracky here. So I'm gonna go in with a brush and just softly like sand it with the bristles, and there's a little glue in there, so that kind of helps too. And you want to make sure you're adhered well up here, you know. So and I just go in and I keep kind of, you know, melded it over the sides, you know, like yeah, that thing get like they slide if you don't keep an eye on them. So I just keep forming and molding and scooching. And it kind of changes the shape of your casting, but it's okay. I mean, it fits to your project. So, and then, look, I have painted many a mold casting, a clay casting, while it's wet. I have literally painted them when the clay is not dry, and they do fine. And I honestly think it helps with the, like, limiting the cracking. I don't know, but I've done it so many times. They're fine. It dries. So I painted this in antique silver, a delicate metallic paint by Pentart. So, oops. So, delicate metallic paint. Okay. And we have to do a little bit of blending around here and over here. So I'm going to mix up the paint and I'll be back for the blending. Okay, so I have Pentart acrylic paint in matte, and this is mud gray. This is Titan white, and this is vintage yellow. And I just mix the three, just a little tiny bit. You don't need much at all. And the mud gray is pretty dark, you know, almost kind of like earthy gray brown. And this is the Titan white. And I try to keep these little seal lids to help, you know, keep the paint fresher. And I'm gonna put some of the vintage yellow. And is what I try to achieve with this mix is like a vintagey aged old antique paper parchment kind of color, you know. That's what I'm aiming for. And I've used this color before when I had to blend the paint around the Madonna from the Roy Cycled Angels Masterboard paper. I did a project with that, and I had to blend the paper, you know. I'm using too much paint, pretty much, you know. And I need some more white. You know, if you look at this paper and you see these dark, kind of agey colors, that's what I'm trying to do. And I just use like this little artist brush. Tiny touches, you know. Let's see, okay. So I just go around here. Don't worry about getting it on your clay or anything like that, because you're gonna paint that antique silver anyway. A little dark over here, so I gently just wiped it back. And see, I wiped too much, so I just go back in. And the antique paste is going to go around here anyway, so it's going to cover it up. It's not a big deal. So I feel like this is a little dark for this side back here, so I want to make sure I dilute the paint and like make it like a watercolor, you know, like a, I don't want it really saturated, you know. It's gonna be a lot darker than some of the parts of this paper on the back, but it's okay. As you can see, we aged it and it blended beautifully. So it did great. I'm just getting up in there, getting down in here. Okay. Over here. And over here it's nice. It's more of the color that I need. So I'll just kind of paint that in a little bit. And let's see, want to get that dry. Just a little bit, you know. All right. So now we want to paint delicate metallic paint in antique silver on the clay. This is great paint, by the way. My favorite. Just like fuzz. So I'll get closer and you can see. Check out the color. It's really pretty. Kind of got to get under there in those little crannies. Oh, I forgot to tell you. And I'll write it down with the post. I bought this Astrid mold from Artsy, Craftsy, Emporium on Etsy. It's a shop on Etsy, and that's where I got it from. Just so you know where I got it. And like I said, I sell IOD molds, and I don't sell other brands of molds. I love this color. It's it looks like old antique silver. I mean, it looks like old antique metal or silver, you know? Pretty cool. So now we have to paint this. So here you go. Nice and painted. And we're gonna dry it. The blow dryer. Make sure that is good and dry. This needs to be really dry before you apply your cracking gel transparent. We're gonna apply component 1, okay? You don't want any water or moisture to impair your crackling, your development of your crackling. Okie doke. So my mold is moving right there. Okay. So you need a good dry, soft brush for applying these mediums. This medium, okay? So here's component 1. And you know, I'm not covering the whole front. I'm just gonna go randomly around, like sort of at the perimeter, you know? And I want to like try to get it down in there, because you want your crackles to develop around the edges and the sides, kind of like natural aging might do. Then a little bit on the bird, like that. Gonna go down in there. And up in there. So when this dries, it dries really clear and really shiny, okay? So there you go. I'll just use this old seam binding. That way I can hang it up. I have a wall sconce over here. I can just hang it from that so it can dangle in the air and dry. You know? Shoot. Can't touch anything, it's all wet and sticky. There. So we'll just do that. Okay. Alright, cracking gel transparent component number 1 again for the back. So both sides will have cracking gel transparent component 1. So here we go. Just sort of randomly and around the perimeters. Get it in here. On the perimeter. It's okay to get it on your clay and stuff. It's not gonna hurt it. And it'll probably crackle the paint on the clay, which is kind of cool looking, I think. There's our little chair babies. So we'll let part of this get crackled. I think we're good. We'll just let that dry. Okay. Boy, I go through paintbrushes. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 brushes I have used. Oh, so crazy. All right, this has to dry for 20 to 30 minutes, and then we can apply component number 2, and then that has to dry for 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, we're back, and we are going to apply component 2 of cracking gel transparent by Pentart to our ornament. This is a design from Cozy Winter Ornaments by Decoupage Queen rice paper, and this is from the Spirit of Christmas rice paper by Decoupage Queen. And we applied component number 1 probably about 30 minutes ago and let it dry, and now we're applying component number 2, and I'm just going to go around the areas where I applied component number 1 earlier. I'm using a soft, dry brush. This brush is not wet or anything. Make sure you use a soft, clean, dry brush when you apply your Crackle components. Trying to get it down in there where I got the component number 1 today. Component number 2 is like, you can go in different brush stroke patterns and apply it a little thicker, and I'll read the back of the bottle, and this will tell you, it says, after component 1 has dried, apply component 2 to the surface. Depth and network of the cracks depend on layer of thickness and orientation of application. So as what that means is you can do like crosshatch patterns. They don't have to be perfect brush strokes. You can layer it on a little thicker. You know, it's just how you like your crackles to come out. So I did this one a little thicker and crosshatch than the one that I did the other day that looks like this ornament. So we'll see how it turns out. And this dries really shiny and clear, so you can literally just kind of move your project around and see where the light hits on the shiny parts and know that that's where you had applied your component number 1. So we're applying component 2 to the back, and I mean, I pretty much remember that I put it around the perimeters and in random areas elsewhere. It doesn't matter too much as long as you get it on there. So I have to hang this up to dry. So I tied it with the seam binding, and I'm hanging it on my camera stand here. All right, we're gonna let component number 2 of the cracking gel dry, and we'll be back to check it, and hopefully it'll be all good and we can put our antique paste umbra on there. Okay, we're back, and component number 2 of Cracking Gel Transparent by Pentart has dried, and the crackles developed nicely. And let me say something really important about Cracking Gel Transparent. The Cracking Gel Transparent is great to use on glass projects as well, because it is so transparent when it dries. I've heard some people say, oh, the crackles don't develop, I can't see them, but they're there. I have to really look hard, and I'll even take my camera and zoom it and like move my project in the light, and I'll see my crackles. And oh, I dropped this on the floor and it has fuzz on it. So is what you need to do is just make sure you let it dry, thoroughly, and you can take a heat gun to it or a dryer and help move the crackles along. If you think enough crackles didn't develop, you can also, you know, apply the heat. And this is what I did because, like I was saying earlier, our house is very cold tonight. So I have a little old brush and I'm applying antique paste in Umbra. Some call it Umber, but the bottle says Umbra. And so I just stick with that. And so as you can see, we have crackles. And the antique paste looks really dark when you're applying it. You're gonna think, ew, yuck, it's too dark. But once you start rubbing this in, you're gonna see your transparent cracking gel develop crackles just fine. See, look at that. Okay, so I'm gonna put the camera down because this is awkward, and we'll do the rest. You know? And I can hold it up too. So we have plenty of crackle action here, you know, and I have a little bit of area right up against the mold castings that is not quite dry. So when you have your antique paste on here, or your whatever, don't do wax. It's okay to do the antique paste on your crackles, and then apply your clear varnish. Glossy is what I'm going to use. This is clear varnish glossy. It's a solvent based varnish to seal your project, and you need that to protect your project from continuing to break down from the crackle medium. And if you don't care for the really dark antique paste in your crackles, you can wipe it back. Okay, you can just take a cloth, a saw cloth, and you go in, and if it's too dark, you can take some Pentart solvent cleaner. I have it right here. This is Pentart solvent, and it's like a turpentine based cleaner. It can clean your paint brushes. It can help you wipe back your wax paste, antique paste, stuff like that. And I don't like my stuff too dark. So and you really need to be in a well ventilated area when you use the clear varnish or the solvents or anything like that. And wear gloves. I'm just tipping just a tip there on my towel, and so I'm just going to go in with the solvent just a little bit. Okay, I don't want to touch it. Okay, and you don't want to irritate your skin. So you can use solvent to wipe back. If you think you have too much crackle color, like Umbra or antique paste, you could just go in and see, it lightened it back up some. Okay, so it's all good, and I still have my pretty crackles. There you go. Trying to see if I can give you a good look. Okay, so let's add the antique paste to the back. Okay, and as you can see, I don't know if you can tell, there's like white in there. That's the cracking paste transparent. So here we have crackles that developed just fine. on that side. You want to go around the edges here where you know you got your Crackle medium. Get it in there. Some people will use like a cloth to rub theirs on. I like to use just a little soft brush, you know. So it's Cracklicious. Look at that. It's just great. Okay. So now I'm going to go in with my solvent and just wipe some of it back. Okay. So it's not so dark. You want to be able to see your design. There we go. Beautiful. Look at that crackle. Let's wipe that back. So don't forget, the cracking gel transparent is really transparent. It's really hard to see the crackles. You have to literally put your antique paste or, you know, whatever you want to color your crackles with. You have to apply that stuff so you can see them. I'm just adding a little more. Okay. So, I love it. It's great. And we need to apply a coat of clear varnish so it can dry overnight. Here we go. I'll just sit it on here. I'm going to leave my little seam binding so I can hang this to dry. So I'm going to apply the clear varnish in glossy finish. I'm not going to apply it really thick or wet. I don't want it running down the project, you know, when I hang it up or anything. You don't need much, a lot. A little goes a long way. And I just use a dry brush. Okay, so I'm just gonna brush this on. I probably don't even need to dip the brush anymore. I got a lot of glossy varnish on there. And if I, you know, tomorrow when I take a look, if I have to touch it up, I will, you know. I want to make sure I get all in there. And after this is applied and dried, you can go in with like a color wax paste if you wanted to. I will not be doing that. I'm happy with my antique paste. And then I'm going to go in with my antique paste and my antique silver painted clay and age in the crevices here and stuff. I'm just going in with super duper light, gentle brush strokes. All right, there you go. All nice and glossy varnish, and it smells to high heaven, so make sure you're in a well-ventilated area, and be careful with this stuff, okay? I'm gonna hang it up on my camera stand again, let it dry. So that's it. We'll come back and finish this up, and see you later. Hello, this is Kimberly, and I am back with the second ornament that we made, and it has been varnished with clear varnish glossy, and it's been crackled, and now we just have to take the Pentart antique paste in Umbra, which is a really dark brown, and brush it onto the antique silver metallic paint castings, the trim. So this kind of ages the silver more, and gives it a much more antique-y appearance. So I just like to go in with the antique paste, and I just sort of randomly rub it on all around. And earlier I had painted these clay casting trims that were aging now with Pentart delicate metallic paint in antique silver. So I like the way this paint looks like old tarnished silver or old metal. Pretty cool. Okay, almost done here. And this will complete this project. And of course, there's the bow that we put on top with the tinsel. And after I apply this, I'm going to go in with my soft cotton cloth, and I just sort of gently wipe it back. But it just looks like old tarnished sterling silver to me. So we need to wipe this back. Okay, there you go. My hands are so dirty. All the paint and stuff today. So all right, thanks for watching, everybody. Make lots of beautiful things.